The president announced his strategy for defeating ISIS and wiping out the threat the terrorists pose. Earlier, we spoke with Mark Lawson about the president's plan. Now we are looking at it from a different viewpoint. Mark Arabo, the national voice of the Chaldean Christian people here in America, is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so the president laid out his speech last night, 13 minutes. Was it enough? Was what he said enough?
Sure. Well, we know that it's as much as he would say for now. We had a meeting at the White House a few hours before his statement, and where we submitted 70,000 names of Iraqi Christians and Yazidis that are begging to be rescued, begging for a chance to get out of the country. We also gave him a list of 70,000 sponsors.
Here in the United States?
Here, American angels that care for humanity, that said, we're going to give them a home, we'll give them clothing, we'll give them shelter. And the big thing, you know, in light of today being 9/11, you know, and I want to say that the victims of 9/11 and their families, we pray for them. They're in our hearts, and the victims will always be living amongst every single American throughout the world. But we have to take the lessons from 9/11. The face of terrorism and evil is not Osama bin Laden anymore. It is ISIL. ISIL poses a direct threat to our national security, to the United States of America, and we have to do everything we can to make sure lawmakers and to make sure our governments protect the American people, protect our national security, and make sure 9/11 never ever happens again on America.
Let's talk about Iraq and the new government. The president was saying last night that this new government, he claims it is an inclusive government. Are the Iraqi people and the Iraqi government, are they prepared to be an active participant and take their own country into their own hands and be able to fight ISIL?
So from the beginning, they've always said we're willing to do it, but they're not capable of doing it. And one thing that we know is ISIL poses a threat not just to Iraq or the region or Iraqi Christians, but to everyday Americans. They've beheaded 2 of our Americans. 2 of our journalists they beheaded. And we have to make sure that when there's a cancer like ISIL in the region, we have to be as powerful in stomping them out. We have to cut the cancer out, give strong chemotherapy and strong radiation. Right now, we're just doing some type of radiation containment to explain it to folks. We need to be doing more.
Well, at what point, I mean, we have been there training these people for years and years and years. At what point are the Iraqi people going to say, this is our country and we are not going to stand up to any more of these terrorists? At what point?
The Iraqi government should always take care of themselves and protect themselves. And we need to do everything we can as Americans to give them the intelligence and the resources to do so, but they need to govern themselves.
Yes.
But at the same time, when ISIL is spreading and they're threatening our national security, we cannot put our security in the hands of the Iraqi government. And that's what would happen if we just depend on them to get rid of this terrorist organization. So we cannot be the solution for everything in the world. But when there's a terrorist group that has explicitly said, we want to attack everyday Americans, we have to do everything we can to stomp them out. And the best step forward is a comprehensive approach, not just airstrikes and aid, but really doing a game changer in the region. But short term, let's save the Iraqi Christians and these Yazidis out of the country. Well, let's rework the government and let's stomp out ISIL.
Well, Mark, what you're doing to try and get those Chaldeans out of there and the Yazidis as well, we wish you very much luck in that, and hopefully those visas come through for those people and get them out of there. Thank you for coming in.